What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Shoe Booty Sports, a special election night edition, but we're going to be talking about sports. We'll figure out who wins after all this. But before we get started, I'm your host, Graham Powell, on this screen. That's Bradley Brown on the other. Say what's up, Brad.
What's happening?
Well, presidential election, it's kind of a big deal going on right now, but we had some major sports stuff going on over the weekend too, so we'll talk about that. First, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. Y'all know the drill. Shoe Booty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion, submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. And once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. And you can find us, Shoe Booty Sports, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X at Shoe Booty Sports. Okay. I don't know if you noticed, I haven't rocked a root beer on a Shoe Booty Sports episode in a long time. It's been a hot minute.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I want to say like Matthews Lane might have been the last episode where I was shooting from, where I rocked one of these. I put it in the freezer for a little bit. Got it like right before I came home, by the way, tonight. Put it in the freezer to get it extra cold. It's got nice. I mean, I left it in there the exact perfect amount of time. There's like bits of ice in it, dude. It hits so much different. It's amazing.
Take your word on it. It
Working
looks
on
good.
working on our A&W sponsor.
Yeah.
But okay, so I put it off long enough. Let's talk about the Ole Miss Arkansas football game. Just as a complete disaster if you are a Razorback
Yeah.
fan. Pretty
Yeah.
awesome day, morning, afternoon if you are an Ole Miss fan. It was just an absolute beatdown from the start. It felt like, okay, here's the thing. I only watched like a small portion of the game, a small portion of the second quarter. I paced the City of College's half marathon in Conway. And my plan go if I was going up there by myself, I was going to go run the race, go home, shower, like go straight home, shower, turn on the game. My dad came with me. We went and hung out with my grandpa after, got lunch and all that. So the little bit I saw was actually on his TV at his house. The rest I heard on the radio. And by the time it got to the third quarter, or even, yeah, I don't even think it was midway through the third, I was done. I
Yeah.
was like, I need to hear something else. My ears are bleeding.
Yeah.
Just a disaster of a performance. Jackson Dart put up video game numbers on like if you're on rookie difficulty, if you're
Yeah. He
playing.
put up better in video game numbers.
Yeah. Well, who's the receiver that in the third quarter had 5 catches for like 284 yards and 5 touchdowns, or 8 catches? No, 8 catches, 254 yards and 5 touchdowns. I believe was the stat line.
Yeah. It was like Wayne or something. I don't. Some with a W.
One receiver for Ole Miss did that to Arkansas. One.
Yeah. It wasn't even their top receiver.
Yeah, it was, and
It.
Jackson Dart did throw some absolute darts, like
Yeah.
the one that put them up 21 or 28-3. I think it was 21-3. That one. I mean, he couldn't have walked over and put it in that spot any better than he threw it. I mean, it was a beautiful ball, and he's
Yeah.
considered. I mean, he's considered by many the best quarterback in the SEC, and he made a case. He made a pretty good case Saturday.
Yeah.
It was bad. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
They came out and played like their life depended on it, and we came out and played like we were still hitting the snooze button. Like we have not shown up to the early games this season. The couple that we've had, we've gotten off to a slow start. Very slow.
Well, Ole Miss didn't waste time, and they better get it together. Now the Hogs do have the week off this Saturday, but you got another morning game at home against number 5 Texas next weekend. We'll make a score prediction for. Well, we'll do that next
Yeah,
week.
we-
We ain't
yeah.
gotta we got to worry about that this week, thankfully. Okay. But yeah, heck of a job. I guess you could say Lane Kiffin is doing there at Ole Miss. I don't remember Ole Miss ever doing that to Arkansas. Not like that. The worst I'd ever seen Ole Miss beat Arkansas that I can recall prior to that game Saturday was when I was in high school, like early high school. I was living there in Lone Oak in the big white house, and we had the game on. And I think Deuce McAllister was the running back for Ole Miss, and he just ran all over the Hogs. And it was just an absolute beatdown. Arkansas didn't have a chance. Arkansas definitely didn't have a chance Saturday. That was a much worse beatdown than that
Yeah.
game 20 plus years ago. Yeah, it was ugly. There's nothing else to say beyond that. But
Hey,
I
special teams, man. We made what a 50 something
55,
yarder. So
55 yarder.
yeah, I'll take that positive out of that game.
Did
That's
hear
about the
that on the
only.
radio.
Yeah, you really can't take offense or defense as a positive. Damn it, we can take special teams.
Silver lining to anything if you look hard enough. And it was that made it 7-3, I think, at that point. So it was still like, it was still close. So it was like barely into the
Yeah.
game.
Dude,
That
after that
game
first
would
quarter, I, after that first quarter, man, I was like, do I really have to sit here and finish this game? Like,
no, don't do that to yourself.
and then
I was
they
glad I
gave you
missed it.
we marched the ball right down the field and then stalled. It's like, well, yeah, screw carrying in momentum to the locker room.
Well, it was the game that would never end. By the time it was 50 something, Ole Miss was in the 50s. It was like barely into the third quarter. I was like, what? Like, and again, I was in the car. We went and ate at Don Pepe's, which
That's
even
pretty good. Yeah,
hits even better after running 13 miles, by the way.
yeah. I
Uh,
haven't had that in like 8 years. So
they Well, if you ever go back through there, they're in a new location, brand new building, same street. It's just a little further down the road. So you just have to go a little further down the road, and it's there. They got a drive-through now too, kind of wild. Uh, yeah, still amazing. But anyway, we were chasing around an Arkansas Democrat Gazette after that because my grandpa still reads the paper, and
I didn't know they still made them.
yeah, that's the point. They're hard to find, and but I have that on the radio, and then I hear the stat line from that receiver, and I was just thinking, oh god, and it's not even the end of the third quarter yet. We were like barely into the third quarter. It was the game that would never end.
Yeah,
If you're a Razorback fan.
it was bad, very bad.
Okay, and I did see that Oklahoma State. Have you seen how they're doing?
Not so good.
They lost their sixth straight. They are 0-6 in Big 12 play, 3-6 overall. This was the number 16 team preseason. And even when Arkansas played them, I mean, what was it, week two? I can't
Yeah,
remember. Yeah. It was, I mean, you could tell
that was week
Arkansas was
three.
the better
Week
team.
three.
Okay. Well, you could tell Arkansas was better. They were the better team.
Yeah,
They just kept shooting themselves in the foot, and Oklahoma State did just enough to win it. But you knew then Arkansas was better. So it makes that loss to Oklahoma State just look that much worse. You lost to a team that's now 3-6 and 0-6 in Big 12 play, and it's a Big 12 without Texas and Oklahoma again. All right, so I don't have this written down. I don't want to spend too much more time on it, but how would you grade the Hogs season up to this point? 9 games in, they're 5-4 overall, 3-3 in league play. Had you told me that that would be the case, I would be like, oh, B plus, or
yeah.
maybe
I
even
mean,
A.
I don't know if I would go A. I mean, I would go I'm probably at like the C plus range right now. Like, yeah, compared to what I thought we were gonna do. I mean, yeah, we're one game better, and the season's not over. So maybe a B, but I'm going to stick with at C plus, C
Yeah.
plus plus.
Well, I mean, and maybe you knew this is what I meant. I just meant had you told me 9 games into the season before the season started, they'd be 5-4 and 3-3 in the SEC. I'd be like, oh, absolutely, yeah, I'll take that 100%. And I still would. But yeah, considering how they played against Ole Miss and just how the offense has just not looked good at times for various reasons.
Yeah,
I think a good C. I think a solid C is a good grade for the Hogs, just based on their talent level and expectations and all that. They're surely going to beat Louisiana Tech. Even with if Malachi Singleton's the quarterback, it seems like every time I turn on the TV, he's in the game. I mean, the way Taylor Green plays, he's going to get hurt running around
yeah,
like he does. And I'm not saying he shouldn't. I mean, he's a much more effective weapon that way, and he's gifted in that regard. But I think they can beat. I mean, they'll beat Louisiana Tech, regardless of if it's Malachi Singleton or even the third guy that they have back there. It's not a gimme. You never know with Arkansas, but I'm still going to tab them with 6 wins by the end of the season. I think if they do win one they shouldn't the rest of the way, it'll be Missouri. But I don't see it. I'd still pick Missouri in that. And yeah, but 6-6 and going to a bowl game, I'll take that
yeah.
100%. Okay. All right. So again, Hogs are off this weekend, off this Saturday. Take on number 5 Texas. They are in Fayetteville for that one. The following Saturday. So no, November 16th, Saturday morning game. So we'll worry about that when we get to it. They did have the college football playoff rankings revealed tonight at 6. I told myself I was going to take a look at it, but I haven't. By the time I got home and got something to eat, I turned on the TV just to, well, one, I was just fortunate to have internet. I didn't have internet all yesterday. Storm did something where the wirings are put together wherever that is. And, just long story short, I didn't have internet till this afternoon. I had to come home to confirm that. So I'm just glad I have internet, but I haven't looked at the rankings. Have you?
Yeah, I've took a peek at them.
Okay, well, how
So
do they look? Let's I
I
guess I could
mean,
pull it
it's
up.
not in the top 15 or top 12. I mean, the ones that you're concerned with the 12-team playoff. There's no changes between that and the ranking, just the usual rankings, except I think they flipped Georgia and Ohio State. Like they were 2-3 in one and 3-2 in the other. So I mean, I don't know. I guess they got it right. I mean, hell, it's 5 weeks away. Don't really matter if they get it right now. It's only if they get it right here in about a month. But
I'm more
I
so
mean,
interested in like the buys. So you got Georgia, Miami, BYU, and who's the other buy? Uh, Ohio State.
no, Ohio State doesn't have a bye.
It's got a play mark over where Oregon. I whiffed on the number 1 team. I'm trying to look at it on ESPN. I'm trying to avoid watching the ESPN app. I'm trying to avoid watching the video, and I just had the play marker like right in the way. I could see it was green. I was like, surely it's not Notre Dame, but I mean they are in it.
it's never going to be Notre Dame. No, Notre Dame's never going to have that bye until
No,
they go to a conference.
true. But you got Oregon as the 1 seed. You got Georgia as the 2. Miami as the 3. BYU as the 4. And those
Yeah,
are the buys that's an automatic bid to the quarterfinals. This is going to be interesting. The more football, the better for me. I I liked I liked the BCS back when it was a thing
yeah,
because usually they got it right. I was like, I mean, they got the 2 best teams in it. But then the
yeah,
college football playoff happened in 4, and I was like, okay, this is pretty good. This is pretty
yeah.
fun. And now it's like, okay, it's this just seeing it on the bracket gets me excited. So I more football the better the way I see it. And of course, it's all about money. But There's a reason that money's generated. We all love watching football, and this looks pretty cool, and will be exciting at times. Some of the games will be predictable, but then you might get a Boise State Oklahoma situation in 2006 or whatever it was. That's going
Yep.
to happen at some point. So I'm excited to see this. So I'm glad you checked it out because I did not get to. Um, what else went on in college football over the weekend that we missed? Ohio State beat Penn State. No surprise there. Of course, Oregon continued to win.
Yeah, Louisville beat up Clemson pretty good for
They
most of
did.
that game.
They did. I did watch that
And
game. Clemson did not look very good.
poor old A&M, man. They they had it all working for them. Were controlling their own destiny, and then they go and lay an egg in South Carolina.
You're not surprised by that. That's Beamer ball, man.
No. Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, "Yep, that's typical South Carolina under Shane Beamer. They go win a game like this.
Yep.
They'll turn around and they'll lose to I don't know, a Mississippi State, but they'll maybe not them.
Yeah. As you already mentioned, Iowa State losing by 1 point to not stay undefeated.
I did not, but I mean, it's listen to that
Yeah.
sentence. Like
I figured it. Yeah,
that was
you knew it was going to happen. You just didn't know how long it was going to take. But yeah, Texas Tech got it done.
Indiana keeps winning. Indiana continues to win. They're remaining unbeaten in the Big Ten. That's now 20 teams. It feels like whatever. Uh, but yeah, it's again their head coach has won everywhere he's been. Literally everywhere he's been, he's won. He's had a winning program, and he's doing that right away at Indiana. So I'm not saying they're gonna. I mean, they're going to run into. They're going to catch a L eventually, but they might still do enough to be in the college football playoff. I don't know. We'll see. This is pretty wild and cool to see. Um, all right. Anything else in college football to add before we move on? How is Taylor Green, by the way? I mean, is he okay? Is he going to be able to?
I don't know. I mean, surely we'll get them back after the bye week, but
Probably so. I feel like I would have heard something if it were that serious. All right. Well,
uh,
I don't want to talk about Razorback football anymore. Fortunately, I don't have to this or next week's episode. So we'll get a week off from that. Let's go. Let's jump to the NFL now. Okay, I did get to watch more of that. I didn't see the Thursday night game because it was Halloween. I worked late. By the time I got home, I was like, I want to, I just want to watch a slasher, a classic slasher. But the Jets beat the Texans. A little surprise there. Good for the Jets for finally getting a win. I was fortunate enough to have to play Garrett Wilson when he decided to
yeah,
go off in fantasy football. That's the thing, man. Like I played without a running back this week, and I still put up 120 something points. I still lost because the guy I played scored more points than anybody else in the leagues. But I walked away from that L thinking, you know what? My team's actually they did all right. I just ran into a
yeah,
juggernaut this week. But Jets beat the Texans. Falcons beat the Cowboys. Dak's on the sideline saying, "Man, we suck" or whatever it is, and he's right.
yeah. He's 100% correct.
And the Falcons, I had that game on, and I had because I had it split screen. I had the Falcons Cowboys on. That was the first afternoon game, and then the Ravens and Broncos were on the other screen. And I was flipping back and forth. A friend that's in my fantasy league, she was having to play Bijan Robinson and Derrick Henry. So, and plus, I just like watching those two play. So the Falcons are fun to watch for me just because Kirk Cousins is really starting to come alive now. He's starting to get
Yeah,
back to that 100% Kirk Cousins. He may already be there now. At least that's what it looked like. It's looked like these past couple of weeks. That offense is really starting to roll, and it's fun to watch. And when you got and just get the ball to Bijan Robinson, and good things are going to happen. They got good receivers. Kyle Pitts looks like the guy that we thought he could be with Kirk Cousins. And Baltimore is just always, they're even more fun. I love watching Lamar, huge Lamar fan. I say this every week because he's amazing.
yeah.
They, what was the Broncos defense who has stout defense, by the way. I think statistically they were the number one defense in the league going into this
Yeah,
week. What
one
was
of the
their
top
game
scoring
plan?
defenses.
What was their game plan? We're gonna make Lamar beat us with his arm. And what did he do? He beat the piss out of him with his arm. I mean,
Yeah.
he was throwing dart after dart after dart, and then Derrick Henry was just Derrick Henry. Man, that's a fun offense to watch. I mean, I'm a big fan of Lamar, Derrick Henry. Uh, I love to see the success that they're having. I want to see, of course, I want to see them. I want them all to be healthy, get to the playoffs, and I want to see them take that next step. When they meet the Chiefs, I'll be conflicted because I love both teams. But right now, I want to see the Ravens continue to roll. That's a confident, talented football team, and I mean they beat up on the Broncos Sunday. Wasn't even close. What, like 41-10?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay. Eagles are starting to come on too. By the way, Saquon Barkley has found new life. They're in Philly. We'll talk about Embiid in Philly when we get to the NBA portion of the show. But Eagles beat the Jags, and of course, the highlight of the week, maybe year, was Saquon's reverse hurdle that just looked like something out of the Matrix. Doing the spin move, and then he anticipated the defender coming and stayed with his back turned to him, and then just hurdled, splits in the air, and
Yeah.
it played out perfectly. I mean, it was. I told my coworker about it, my purchasing agent, who doesn't even like football. I said, "Did you see it?" She said, "No, my husband probably did." I said, "Look it up right now." I said, I was like, Saquon reverse hurdle, I think is what I said. And she types it in. She watched it at least 3 times with me sitting there. She just kept going back and looking at it without me saying go back and look at it. She just kept going back to it because she was like, wow, that was amazing. I'm like, I know. That's why
Yeah.
I wanted you to see it. It was awesome. But yeah, that was the highlight of the week, maybe year. Has there been a better play than that? I didn't see Garrett Wilson's catch.
No,
I heard that
not
was
that. But Garrett, I was gonna say Garrett Wilson's catch on Thursday night. That was pretty amazing. It wasn't I'm gonna hurdle somebody backwards, but yeah, he he went up, did his best impression of Odell, and by like a fraction of his chin or shin came down in bounds. So it's a pretty
Is it
good catch.
Shin? Okay, all right.
Shin,
Is it Chin or Shin?
shin
Okay, with a S or a C?
with an S.
All right, just checking. All right. Okay, so the Lions, they're now 7-1. They beat the Packers 24-14. Packers still a good 6-3 football team, but I mean that defense made Jordan Love look not very good at times. Jared Goff has been on a tear. I mean, he's a legitimate. I would, if the season ended today, I would probably still give the MVP to Lamar, I guess. I mean, just because his numbers have been so great, it's hard to say Mahomes like isn't the most valuable player, right? But I mean, it's a regular season award, and numbers are part of it. So I'd probably go Lamar, but Jared Goff is very much in the conversation and should be and deserves to be. Um, that's another one of those. You want to talk about Saquon finding new life in Philly? Jared Goff has found a new home in Detroit. I
Yeah.
mean, a SoCal kid going to Detroit, and like that's their guy. It's a pretty cool thing to see. Hear them chant his name every game. It's fun to see. That's just a fun team to watch. And Jared Goff being the leader of it all, it's just it's a cool story. Love watching the Lions play. Lions, never thought I'd say that ever in my life, but here we are in 2024. Um, the Rams are starting to get healthy finally. You got Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua out there at the same time. Although Demarcus Robinson has had 2 tutties on Sunday and had another the week before. Low key putting up a bunch of fantasy points as a free agent,
Yeah.
which he'll probably stay because when you still got there, because when you got Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua. It's the ball's eventually going to go back to them.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Rams are. I mean, they're up there as far as being able to beat anybody as long as they're healthy. I mean, that was the big if for really all season. But they're starting to come around and get healthy again. All right, Chiefs improved to 8-0 with I got a typo here, 30-24 overtime win over Tampa Bay on Monday Night Football. That's one I really looked forward to seeing. And when I got home, I realized, okay, I don't have internet and I'm not getting it back tonight. So I had to just kind of check out the score every so often on my phone. I did make some bomb chicken fried rice last night as a result of not having anything else to do. But I was like, yeah, I'd still rather be watching that football
Yeah.
game. But it looked
I
like
would
I
have
was,
much rather been watching that game.
yeah, well, I missed it. But Mahomes looked like Mahomes. He's starting to look like the Mahomes that we're used to seeing from a fantasy perspective.
Yeah.
Because of course, when you're 8-0, it's yeah, of course they're doing great. But yeah, I missed a great game. It looked like.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what you thought about the Bucks not going for two there at the end of regulation, but you didn't watch it, so I'm not gonna ask that question.
Now you can. I heard about it. I did check out some other podcasts today, and just while at work, and I heard Todd Bowles like answer in the the post game presser. I would have because I would have gone for two. I mean, it's the Chiefs. What do you got to
Yeah,
lose? Like you're going to you're not expected to win that game anyway.
you're down quite a bit of players. I mean, both your top wide receivers, they're gone. A couple other key players, they're gone.
Roll
You
the
have no
dice.
business. You have no business being in that situation, but there you are. Roll the dice, man. You're playing with house money. Like,
Pressure's
go for it.
all on KC at that point.
Yeah,
Pressure's all on them. And I even saw Baker Mayfield's reaction when the Chiefs won the coin toss in overtime. He knew it was
dude.
over.
Well, because he said, I'm pretty sure he said tails, and the ref goes, "You said heads," and he said heads, and I don't know. I don't know. It's like they manipulated him to call him the wrong thing. I'll have to go back and watch it, but it just
I,
didn't. It just didn't seem right at the time. But
I mostly just mean when he realized Patrick Mahomes was getting the ball, he knew it was over.
yeah,
It's like giving the
you,
ball to Michael
you,
Jordan on the last possession. It's like giving the ball to Tom Brady with one possession remaining in overtime. It's
yeah,
in
you
that
know what's going to
situation.
happen.
Yeah, it's over. It's a wrap. Uh,
Yeah,
Mahomes has that status. He has earned that status. He is. He's up there with Brady. He's up there with Jordan in that regard. You get him the ball, it's you expect to lose the game if you're the opposing team. You're a Chiefs fan, you're expecting them to win. That's Patrick Mahomes. He's the face of the league for a reason. He's the best football player I've ever seen. I've said it on the show, and yeah, and he's incredibly clutch and
yeah,
supremely talented. That's what's going to happen. So
and he
yes,
knows how to bundle Ruski.
he's not going to say that though. But Jake from State Farm can.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, if I'm Todd Bowles, I'm going for two in that situation. All right, let's talk some hoops now. Let's talk some college hoops first. Arkansas Razorbacks, they officially tip off their regular season tomorrow night at home against Lipscomb. You've got to have ESPN Plus for that one. I no longer have that, so I'm not going to be able to check that
me
out.
neither.
But I assume the Hogs will take care of business. Having said that, they do play host to number 8 Baylor on Saturday night, and that's on ESPNU. I'm actually going to be in your hood this weekend. My brother and I are running the Back 40 trail runs, my first ever trail race. We're doing the 13-mile option, so I'm going to see how that goes. I got some new trail running shoes that I got over the weekend. I'm really looking forward to testing out. So I'll be in your hood for that. And I need to watch the game somewhere, so I might swing by your place or my mom's, one of the two, whatever I can get around to doing.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'll be here. So
okay, I was gonna say, assuming you're like in town, not in Tulsa or something. But that's the one I'm interested in seeing. Playing host to number 8 Baylor on Saturday night. That should be a good one. I can't make a prediction. I'll just say go Hogs because I haven't seen enough of them play. I saw them play Kansas and look awesome, but then they lost a 1 pointer to TCU. But it's an exhibition game. You can't. Even when they beat Kansas, Kansas was without some of their players, but so was Arkansas. So, but we're going to find out for sure how good they are, at least this early in the season. Saturday night at home against Baylor should be a good one. Duke continues to land the top recruits.
Dookies.
Yeah, Cooper Flag is considered the future number 1 pick. From what I've seen of him, impressive. But you
Yeah,
see
he looked
Duke,
pretty good.
yeah. But you see Duke continue to land just prospect after top class after top class after top class. And we're 2 years removed now from Coach K. And the
Yeah,
question to me is we've seen Alabama drop. Alabama's always going to be Alabama to an extent, but we've already seen drop off. We've already seen drop off from Saban to Kalen DeVore. Uh, I can't even remember who Coach K's or excuse me, Duke's coach is right now. I mean, I'm sure his name that is
yeah.
John
Oh,
something maybe. Um,
sure.
yeah,
John
could be off.
Smith. This is
John L. Smith.
yeah.
No, definitely not him. But Duke continues to
Ah,
land these top recruits and top recruiting classes. So how long will Duke, I mean, continue to be the standard of college basketball? Right? Like how long? There's no way they can keep this up, right?
no, no. I mean, I would figure. I don't know. I give it another 6 years, maybe a couple more classes. Yeah, and it should drop off unless they mess around and somehow win a national title in the next 3 years.
John Shire is the head coach. I was actually going to say that, but I was like, I don't know if
Hey,
that did or not. But John
I got the
Shire,
last initial right.
there you go. For those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube. Uh, yeah, I imagine that this is normal. Like this is normal. Like when you're a program that is considered the standard in Duke, uh, that's going to be the case until you start to see them just continue to or just not have success, like in I guess the NCAA tournament. Of course, then again, so much stuff can happen in the
Yeah,
March Madness, but I think this is normal. I think Duke will remain up there and then just kind of steadily erode, um, not to an average program. I mean,
no, they're not
Coach,
going to drop off the face of the planet. But yeah, they'll regress
yeah, I mean when
enough.
Coach K has put 40 years of A+ work into that program and made it what it is, it's not going to go away overnight. I don't think it'll ever go away. They'll have some down years eventually, but I think we are a ways from that. I mean,
Yeah,
and that's a testament to how great of a coach Coach K was in building that program into what it is. 5 national championships, got the most wins of any NCAA college basketball coach ever. Yeah, it's going to be a while before they drop off, but that's the question: is really how long is it going to take? Because we've already seen it at Alabama, and I don't know that we're going to see it at Duke anytime soon. I think it's going to be like a year, or it's going to be years before they start to come down a little bit.
yeah.
Okay, let's talk some NBA stuff before we get out of here. Joel Embiid, um, yeah, he's been suspended 3 games, I think, for shoving a columnist in the locker room. It was, and of course that's not going to get great publicity there. And then he followed that up by essentially griping about needing to be treated better by the media after all he's done for the city. And it's like, oh, what have you done for the city exactly? I mean, yes, you've helped make the franchise relevant again because they were hot garbage when they drafted you. Sure, you've
Yeah.
helped make them relevant again, but you haven't won any championships.
No.
The closest you got was 2019 when Kawhi hit that game 7 shot that just bounced around for an eternity and
Hey.
fell in. And then they of course, go on to beat Golden State, Toronto, that is, in the NBA Finals in 2019. That's the closest you got, man. You went, yeah, you got an Olympic gold medal. I mean, you did that for Team USA over the summer, but that wasn't all you by any means. And yeah, it screamed to me like an oversensitive, spoiled star player that of all places he doesn't need to be in, it's Philadelphia with that media and those fans. So it was it that's not how to handle that if you're Joel Embiid.
No, because I've already heard some uproars from some fans over that whole deal. Asking what he ever did for that city, other than cash them checks that they keep giving him.
Yeah, I mean you can't. Yeah, he is a star player. He is a legitimate star player, but he also can't stay healthy, and it's hard to at that size. I get it.
Yep.
It's but can't stay healthy. You haven't seen tremendous postseason success, and you haven't gotten the ring, the Larry O'Brien trophy. You don't have anything to really stand on when you say after all you've done for the city. Like what? What have you done? You've helped make the franchise relevant again. I mean, okay, that stands for something. Not for the amount of, not for your behavior as of late, and certainly that statement. And
How
never
many
shove
hun-
a columnist. Like what?
yeah, how many hundreds of millions of dollars have they paid him?
A lot, a good chunk. He has no gripe. He has absolutely no gripe. I understand he's got a chip on his shoulder and all that, but that's not the way to handle it. Okay. Um, Before we get out of here, well, quickly, Cavs and Thunder, the only unbeaten teams left in the NBA. Kind of surprising. Bucks and Sixers and Jazz have the worst record in the leagues, all just
Yeah.
one win teams. And on the women's hoop side of things, the Indiana Fever have moved on from Christy Sides as they should have, and have hired former Connecticut Sun coach Stephanie White. So very good hire there. She was a part of the staff on the Fever when they won their lone WNBA championship in 2012, I believe. So solid hire there. But we're out of time. I'm going to go watch the election coverage. I imagine you are too. But until next week, I'm Graham Powell.
Brother Brown.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.
USA. USA.